Hi everyone, my name is Claire. Welcome to this special recording just for all of you doing interior design at TAFE. So first of all, really sorry that we weren't able to get a recording to you on the day, but what I'm going to do is give you the exact same information minus the free lunch at the end, which you wouldn't have been able to have anyway. So hopefully maybe you can pick up some lunch and watch this as you eat. So I'm going to give you the exact same information. We didn't go through a lot in the session. It was mostly just to say hello, and then people went off and had lunch. So this will be very short, but hopefully you feel afterwards like you've got some new information that you can use. So as I said, we are talking to you in interior design at TAFE, and we, as in me, are in creative and performing arts at Flinders. So as I said, my name's Claire Whitley. I'm a lecturer in creative arts at Flinders. I teach a lot of different things, but you may eventually meet me in one of the creative arts topics that you might take over the course of your study. But either way, it's really good to be talking to you virtually. I just want to firstly acknowledge that I'm talking to you on Kaurna country, and I want to pay my respects to elders past and present and acknowledge the relationship that the Kaurna people have with the land. If you've been on to any of our campuses, which I think you're all at Tonsley, so you would see how lovely some of the land is that we get to teach on and learn on. So I encourage you to all think about, the relationship that you have with the country that we're on. So the first thing we're going to do, and I'm keeping this exactly the same as we did in person, is I'm going to show you this quick video. This is the city version of this video. All of the services are the same across the Bedford Park and City campus campuses, but this one, because this is the video that we showed your TAFE peers, we thought we should show you this one to make sure everyone's got the same information. But just be aware that even if you are more likely to visit Bedford Park campus, all of the same services are available to you. They're just in slightly different spots, but I'll let you know about that in a minute. So I'm just going to play this and then we'll get back into some of the other things that we've got to talk about. All right.
Welcome to Flinders University. This is your guide to getting started, staying connected, and finding support. Let's go. First things first, Wi-Fi. Connect to the Edge Your Own Wi-Fi using your student fan and Flinders password. For more information, head to the Wi-Fi page on our Flinders website. Flow, or Flinders Learning Online, is the main platform that the university uses. It runs off of a platform called Canvas, so you may hear people call it by that name too.
Need help with Flow? Head into the Orientation Events Planner page and register for the Intro to Flow session. If you need help to enroll and register, Flinders has plenty of support available to make the process smooth and stress-free.
You could simply submit a request online via Ask Flinders, visit Student Services on Level 2 for personalised assistance,
or watch the Student System how-to guides on YouTube for quick visual guides. You also need to order your student ID card.
You can visit Student Services on Level 2 or use the Order My ID Card app on your Okta dashboard.
You can get your student ID posted straight to you. Just make sure your address is up to date, and you can even choose your preferred name.
If you're at the City campus, you can also pick up your ID card from Student Services on Level 2.
At the City campus, you can find the library on Level 4, chat with librarians, access textbooks, journals, videos, and more.
Flinders also offer a huge variety of scholarships, which you can find on our Flinders Scholarships page.
Getting to the City campus? Easy.
With the City campus just a 5-minute walk from Adelaide Railway Station, you've got plenty of public transport options like trams and Adelaide Metro buses right at your doorstep. The train links our City, Bedford Park and Tonsley campuses, making travel between them super convenient and easy.
Feeling unsafe? Security is here for you 24/7. Just ring 8201-2880 or find hotline phones around campus. If you experience harassment or unacceptable behaviour, you can always make a confidential report. It doesn't start a complaint, it starts support.
Better You connects you with wellbeing resources, physical, mental, social and spiritual. Check it out to look after you.
You can see a doctor, counsellor, or disability advisor via phone or online appointments through health counselling and disability services. These appointments can be bulk billed or covered by an overseas health card. Contact them on 08 8201 2118, 9 a.m. to 5 p.m. weekdays.
Are you an international student? Come over to the International Student Services where you're supported through advice, volunteering, social events, meet and greets, and much more.
Young Corinthi supports Aboriginal and Torres Strait Islander students with tutoring, study spaces, financial support, and community. Ready to kickstart your career? Careers Hub is here to help you build resumes, networking, business ideas, and placements to jumpstart your career.
If you're a student with disability or mental health conditions, visit the University Specialist Employment Partnership team. The USEP team offers specialized on-campus employment help in partnership with the Community Bridging Services. More details on all the services discussed in this video are available on the link above.
And just remember, university is more than just classes. It's about finding your path, building your future, and accessing support.
And don't forget, having fun along the way. We're super excited to have you here.
Welcome to Flinders.
Okay, hopefully that was useful. So a lot of the services that we talked about in that video, as I say, are also available on the Bedford Park campus. The one that I want to draw your attention to specifically is Flinders Connect. So Flinders Connect is a really good one-stop shop. If you have any questions about things like enrolment, student ID cards, timetabling, really anything, that is kind of the central place to go to get some answers. On Bedford Park campus, that is on level 0 of the central library. So it's pretty central kind of as you come into the main campus. But there's lots and lots of signs and things like that. The other option is to contact them. I can't remember if the phone number was in that video, but just in case it wasn't, their number, I've got it right here, is 1300 354 633. So if you have any questions at all, as I say, about things like enrolment, scholarships, fees, graduation, really anything, they are the one-stop shop. And if they don't know, they can direct you to the right people or connect you with that person that can help you. So during O Week, we had a bunch of different activities, but what I want to draw your attention to here, which is still available, is the Finding Your Way at Flinders kind of site and course. So the big thing that I would recommend you do if you haven't already is to log on to your flow page. So this is essentially all your flow pages for your topics are where all of your important lectures, learning materials, announcements from your lecturers, and all those sorts of things are located. So you can get into Flow by signing on to our single sign-on service, which is called Okta. If you haven't already engaged with Okta, I'd give it a go sooner rather than later just to see how you find it. It's really, really easy to find. You can just type in on Google Flinders Okta, and once you're able to sign on to that, you will get access to all of the different apps that students are entitled to as students of Flinders. So that's things like Flow, so the Flinders Learning Online platform. You might also hear it be called Canvas, but they're used interchangeably, Flow and Canvas. Also things like the library system, your student services, all those sorts of things, they can all be accessed through this single point of entry, which is Okta. So if you haven't already had a go at logging onto that, I recommend that you do that because that will be where everything lives basically for you. The other thing you can do is complete the Finding Your Way at Flinders online orientation topic. This will give you a really good overview of the university, how everything works. It will give you some good ideas around the skills that you can develop, and it will also give you links and information about all the support services that we have at Flinders. So that's another really good thing if you're thinking a bit, you're a bit, oh my gosh, I don't know what's happening, and I don't know where to start. That would be the place to start. So have a go at that when you have some time. This was just some stuff about O Week. But the other thing that I want to kind of draw your attention to is the fact that currently, right at this very minute when I'm recording this, which is on the 4th, is Connect Week. So Connect Week, if you can, I just get onto campus or, things to, I suppose, think about. And these happen every year. So if you can't make it this year, feel free to come back, to engage again next year. But these things often happen within topics, and they're things like welcome tours. There are things like community markets, lots of stuff happening in the wellbeing space. So meditations and workshops, lots of FUSA events, which is our Flinders University Student Association. Lots of different things happening in Connect Week. So we like to say that orientation is kind of like the party or like the festival week, and then Connect Week is the kind of holistic pastoral care week where we say, okay, you're here now and this is how we can support you and this is how we can help you. So have a look at the link just down the bottom there at all the different things that we can do in Connect Week. But as I say, all of these services are always available to you. It's just that in Connect Week, we make a real point to advertise them and get people involved in them. So what's really important are some key dates that I want to make sure you'll have in your diary. So as you know, we had O Week, that's week 0, no classes then, and then we have Connect Week, so the classes start in week 1. The really important date that I want to emphasize is census date. So this is the 3rd of April. So census date is essentially the final date that you can withdraw from a topic, unenroll from a topic without incurring any HECS or help fees. So obviously we want to keep you and we want to support you and we want to make sure that you pass your topics successfully. However, we understand that sometimes things happen. You might be very busy. You might have other things that are going on, which mean that it's not going to be feasible for you to finish your topic successfully at this particular moment in time. If that happens, census date is really important to keep in mind, because as I say, once you get past census date, even if you withdraw, you will be obligated to pay fees. So keep census date in mind. Hopefully it's not a date that you will need to think about and you'll be totally, comfortable and won't need to worry about potentially withdrawing. But if you do, that's the date to be really aware of. All of the other ones are, important. I think census date is the really important one. Last date to enroll in topics is the 13th of March. Last day to withdraw without failure. So that means that you don't have that fail grade on your transcript is week 9, and then examinations, but I don't think that will be particularly relevant to you. It's not really relevant to many people in our discipline, so that's the main one. So now we have some top tips. So we have some general top tips, which are these ones here, and then we organised some specific tips for creative and performing arts students that we think will be most useful for you. But I do want to give you a little bit of information on some of these top tips, because Canvas, as I've said, this is very important. This is our learning management system at Flinders. So we want you to have a look at this as soon as you can, just to see, how it all works, get comfortable with it. As I say, this is where essentially all of the learning materials and all of the learning content lives. So if your lecturer needs to communicate with you, if you need to do a reading, if you need to submit an assessment, it'll all be through Canvas or Flow. As I say, those names are used interchangeably, but they mean the same thing. So have a look, get familiar with that management system. Ping is the student newsletter. You'll get an email with that. That is really good to keep up with what's happening around the university, different services and useful supports that you might find useful. If you're on social media and you like to follow social media accounts, there is Hey Flinders, which is, there's the main Flinders University account, but then there's also Hey Flinders, which is more current student facing. So that, tells you about things that are happening on campus, supports available to students, all that sort of stuff. The other one that we're really keen for you to engage with is the Flinders University Student Association. So as I said, we have FUSA at Flinders, and they are really a one-stop shop for a lot of the support and activities that don't necessarily fall under the support services that we have at Flinders. So these are things like financial advocacy and financial planning. So, maybe you find that it's really difficult to pay all of your bills and you're starting to get really stressed and you start to become, you start to worry that perhaps you're in financial distress. FUSA would be the people that you can talk to see how they might be able to help you. So they can do things like give interest-free loans. They sometimes have grants and kind of bursaries that they can give. They can also do things with academic advocacy. So if you ever feel like, you're not being treated fairly, or something happens within your topic and you're not comfortable talking about it to your topic coordinator or to your lecturers, they can facilitate that conversation. And they're also the people that are in charge of all of the clubs at Flinders. So if you have something that you're interested in, you should check and see whether there is a club associated with that thing. I guarantee you there probably will be, even if it's very specific. We saw during orientation, the Flinders Fencing Club was, out, battling. So there are lots and lots of different clubs, student associations that you can join, and all of those associations have events that they put on, particular, social activities that they host. So that is one of the really, really, most fun ways to get involved with Flinders and on campus. So I would recommend checking those out. I'm going to reiterate this in a minute, but please don't be afraid to ask for help. Everyone here is very, very keen to help you and to make your experience as productive and successful and happy as it can possibly be. Our whole business is kind of supporting you and making sure you achieve what you want to achieve. So don't be afraid to ask for help. That's literally what we are all here for. We're all, everyone that's teaching, everyone that are in these support services, we are here to engage with and facilitate your learning. So, make use of that and don't be afraid to ask for help. And as I say, if you do need help, there are lots and lots and lots of support services at Flinders. I'll have a QR code in a minute. You can, if you don't want to type this link out, but there are things like health counselling and disability. There is Oasis, which is kind of a holistic and community centre. We have the Student Learning Support Service. We have lots and lots and lots of supports available to students, and they're all amazing people and they all do really good work. So, please don't be afraid to seek that help, because everybody needs it sometimes, and that's what they're there for. So, tips for creative and performing arts specifically is the first one, and me and my colleague who presented this session, we sat down and thought about, okay, what can we do here? What are the things that we want to tell our creative and performing arts entrants? So number one is to ask questions. All of these, or this one might seem a bit obvious, but you would be surprised at how scary it is sometimes to ask questions. So ask questions of your topic coordinators, ask questions of each other, and ask questions of support services. A university environment is like the perfect environment for asking questions. It's literally all we do all day is sit around and think about and ask questions and then try and answer them. So be a part of that environment and that process and ask questions. You'll be very hard pressed to find someone that doesn't want to answer a question that you have. Everybody wants you to succeed here, and we're always happy to do whatever we possibly can to make that happen. And yeah, also ask questions of each other. Your greatest resource in this journey is going to be each other and your peers. So, see what you can glean from what everyone else is doing and thinking and feeling. And I guarantee you, if you have a question, someone else is probably thinking of that exact same question. And it's a cliche because it's true. Number 2 is get a diary and make a schedule. So this is a big one, and it is one that I need to get better at doing, but I'm trying. And the good thing about the diary aspect is that FUSA actually give out free diaries at the beginning of semester. So if you are ever on campus, you should go and hunt down and see whether they are still giving out free diaries. They tend to go pretty quickly, but it's usually, it's usually something you can grab right at the beginning, and make a schedule. So, what I would recommend is once you get access to your topics, and this goes for your, your TAFE topics as well, or really anything, look at the assessment due dates, figure out where they all sit, note them down, and then start backward mapping how long you're going to need to submit all of these assessments, especially if some of them fall around the same time as each other. You might need more time. Then you can start putting in things like your work, your family commitments, your extracurricular activities, your downtime, all of these things that are really important for you in your life. Put them in and see how they can fit around and how uni can fit around these things. Because I think sometimes it's much easier to figure out, okay, I actually can do all of this once you've gotten all written down. So I would really, recommend trying that and really blocking it out and seeing how you go with that. And also think about, okay, when do I actually have to be in a classroom doing a particular thing? When am I home? When am I traveling? All those things that kind of take up your brain space and your energy, think about those as well. Make mistakes. I know this is a scary one and one that's obviously much easier said than done, but this is the best way to learn, and it's the way that we encourage you to learn, is through trying and seeing how it goes, and that is, it can be scary, it can be intimidating, but that is, you're in the best environment to do that, in a place where everyone's trying the same stuff, everyone's throwing things at walls and seeing what happens, and you're in a kind of an intellectually kind of safe and comprehensive space to be able to do that. So make the most of that, and, own it, just, you're learning, and that's kind of the best possible situation you can be in. As I've said, make use of clubs, FUSA, the library, to meet people who have similar favourite things. So you all will probably be staying in your cohorts for a significant, period of your study journey. But, uni is a really good place to meet people that like the same stuff as you, even if that stuff isn't connected to your degree. So if there is something that you really, geek out on, check out and see whether there is a club or an association or whatever it is connected to that thing. A lot of people meet their best friends and their lifelong collaborators and colleagues through these things. So make the most of it and see, who and what you can find, because it really is kind of never ending, the amount of stuff you can find here. And then also we have something at Flinders called, some people, I should say, they're not things, people, called Student Success and Wellbeing Advisors. You might hear them referred to as SWAs. These are really amazing people. In our college, we have someone called Anna, and they are essentially a really, really good resource if you're thinking, I need some help, but I just don't know what I need. And for whatever reason, you don't want to talk to your topic coordinator about it. You don't really know where to start. The SWAs are that kind of middle point between, I need some help, I don't know what I need, I don't know how to even start, and okay, we need to do this, this, and this, and that will set us on the right track. So if you are really overwhelmed or worried, consider reaching out to the Student Success and Wellbeing Advisors. You can self-refer. Sometimes your topic coordinators might refer you if they can kind of identify that maybe you are, you're struggling, or you are overwhelmed, or you've identified that you're not really sure what comes next. They might, put you in contact with them, but they're a really excellent resource, and Anna's like the best. So yeah, they are great. As I say, Flinders has a lot of stuff to support you if you so desire. So this is pretty much where we wrapped up. This is a QR code to access for the Student Support and Services Directory. So you can take a scan of that if you would like to. If this doesn't work, you can also just type in Flinders Uni Support Services and they will all come up. Google remains a wonderful resource. So I'm not sure if this survey is still active. If it is, feel free to do it, but it may not be active. So thank you, everyone. If you have questions that were not answered by this session, the best advice I can give you is to log an Ask Flinders request. So if you just type in Ask Flinders, it'll come up with the ability to do that. You might have to be able to log into your Okta to access that service. But what happens with Ask Flinders is basically the online Flinders Connect. So you put in your question, it gets given to someone, and then they say, okay, this needs to go to this person over here. This person over here can answer this question. So they're able to kind of figure out exactly who can help you. So if you have questions that are not, you feel like you're not able to get an answer to, Ask Flinders is the best way to do that. So as I said, pretty short and sweet. I hope that was useful. Thank you so much for watching. And I really look forward to seeing you sometime at Flinders. If you see me and you recognise me, say hello. I always like seeing students as they go through their journeys, and have a great year and enjoy your study journey. All right. Thanks, everyone. Bye-bye.